This is a question for Dr. Sall. I was interested when you referred to Don't Touch My Constitution, the movement. And just reading the Africa region for the last 5 to 10 years, perhaps longer, the liberal electoral democracy, the system itself, has been such a fixation, such a fixing point for struggle. So Kenya, the defense of the constitution, there have been many struggles around efforts to amend constitutions in the last few years around presidential terms, how the electoral process itself becomes such a fixing point for struggle. And I'm wondering, what's your interpretation of that? Is that just a necessary period where we're going to see, until there's a consolidation of liberal democracy, that's going to be the focus point for a lot of popular struggles? Or is there something we need to be breaking in the way that we're organizing? I'd be interested to hear your comments.
Yes, I agree. It's been a kind of fixation. The constitution, to a certain extent, is actually an impoverishment of politics, I would say, because the programs are empty of social content in many instances, and that is a problem. In other words, there is a disconnect between what is the expression of the social movements, when people are talking about high cost of living, employment, social services, and so on. And political elite is concerned more about how to get power, how to prevent one group from staying on and so on. So there's a disconnect here, and I think this is neoliberalism actually manifesting itself to a certain extent, because what we have is an absence of a debate on economic policies in the organized political parties. About, there is no discussion about alternative economic policies in the informal parties that exist. And that's the problem. So there's a disconnect between the social movements, and so I think it's unfortunate that people, it's of course important for constitutions to be stabilized so that there is no tampering with it every time anybody comes to power. But it is I think diverting the attention of people from some of these other essential issues.
Well, I would like to just share, I think, a Hong Kong experience and respond to the themes, I think, raised by the 4 speakers on hope, by Aleida, and then occupation, by the Brazilian MDS experience, and also the young people's, and also new way of thinking by Muto. I think talking about the occupying Central in Hong Kong. I think this is there are quite a lot of young people here sitting here. And I think it is also a very good case to illustrate that the resistance in Hong Kong, actually led by the young people in recent years, in response to the international sort of occupation, the Wall Street movement. And well, I just visited them several times, which if you have time, actually you can go to visit them in Central, just below the Hong Kong Bank, which is the center of the financial center in Hong Kong. And actually they are really that spontaneous. It's very not really like the Gambian case or the African case. It's not really NGO-led, not political party-led, but by groups of young people have been active in the past issues like the Tuen issue for land grabbing, and that sort of development issues, So they have been there for almost two months already, right? Over 2 months. I think 3 months, And actually this is I think the only place in the so-called China, mainland Taiwan, Hong Kong that have been really persisting in the occupation action in response to the Wall Street thing. And also, well, now they don't receive any more press coverage because they've been there for such a long time. Yeah, and the police didn't come. Yeah, and the capitalists didn't drive them away. But they just have tents and then have been living there for such a long time. And then, well, sometimes you say, well, what do they want, really? So do they have an agenda that to fight against the capitalism in Hong Kong or something like that? So maybe that's not really the agenda. But according to my experience of talking to the people, young people there, actually they have the concern, actually also a general concern maybe for the so-called the real estate hegemony. Yeah, so in Hong Kong, the issues of the real estate, yeah, is very obvious, yeah, because of the high rent and everything, yeah. But the government is saying, oh, our financial system is very healthy, we don't have the debts, like we all now have been talking about in these 2 days. Yeah, Hong Kong is a healthy system, financial system, but people are wondering about the high rent and everything. So, but I think the other aspect, I think what I learned from them, they're actually reflecting, or what Muto is saying, that there's a great new way of thinking to reflect upon the ways of life in Hong Kong, the capital, the way that we are sort of delinked from land. Yeah, we don't have any paddy fields, we don't grow any more vegetables. Yeah, most of the imported, the food that we eat are actually imported from elsewhere. Yeah, so we are detached or delinked from land. We don't have a feeling for that. Yeah, so I think they started to organize their livelihood there. Yeah, and then they have their autonomy. They discuss things together. Yeah, and they cook food together. Yeah, and also at one time we also have a gathering to teach them how to grow vegetables there. Try to do some kind of agricultural activities there in order to bring back the feeling of land, which for Hong Kong people, we talk about land, we think about the big buildings rather than the vegetation. Yeah, so try to bring back the relationship of young people with land in that sense. Yeah, so I think I really appreciate very much the young people who've been really persisting the action there. So I think I would like to encourage the young people sitting here to, maybe if you like, you can share something about your struggle there. Yeah, so if you want to, I think you can speak in Chinese, in Cantonese, so that people can also translate for you if you're not. So.
我係佔領行動嘅其中，即係有參與過裏邊嘅。咁我發現其實而家即使係我哋喺香港，我係佔領行動其中一個即係有參與裏邊。咁近排因為忙呢度都冇再去嗰邊即係參與好多咁樣。咁我哋其實都做緊一樣嘢，其實係我哋嘗試緊一種資本主義以外嘅生活，即係學順興所講啦，我哋嘗試去種菜啦，我哋嘗試去集體去做一啲生活啦，令到即係感受下一個即係類似共產一啲嘅情況，同埋類似冇政府一啲嘅情況，究竟喺香港可唔可能咧？但係我嘅觀察咧就係其實係遇到好大嘅困難。我哋好似冇辦法離開緊資本主義所提供嘅所有嘅物質。有人嚟 support 我哋，佢係會拎呢個可口可樂嚟。有人嚟俾嘢我哋食嘅時候，佢係會俾麥當勞我哋食。我唔知點樣你，譬如我哋悶嘅時候。係有朋友係會上網一齊打 online game。咁其實我哋就要諗下其實一個問題，究竟一啲發展咗嘅國家，或者好現代化嘅國家，好似西方或者香港咁樣，呢班人仲有冇可能去過翻一啲即係比較農村一啲嘅生活咧？ 我哋會去嘗試，但係嗰個改變嘅力度其實係好難跳得過。即係我都想唔食麥當勞，但係當我好趕嚟要翻嚟呢度嘅，可能要翻嚟呢度嘅時候，我冇時間去處理呢啲問題。而你諗下，其實資本主義個無孔不入嘅地步咧，就係我今日推出佢由零可以生產好多嘢出嚟。琴日就可能係講緊一啲過度生產嘅問題，但係我會覺得而家資本主義嘅發展已經去到一種唔需要過度生產定已經可以賺錢嘅嘢。佢可能揾阿湯告老師拍一個鏡頭笑一笑，跟住話某一種牌子嘅嘢好。湯告老師呢位朋友咧可以賺1億落袋，但係我哋即係喺個地球裏邊，我哋就要揾1億嘅資源去 support 佢呢1億嘅金錢。但係諗下，其實成個資本主義製造幾多虛擬嘅價值出嚟？今日我着住一件衫樣，如果佢多一個牌子叫 Adidas 或者 Nike 嘅時候，佢可以由本來呢件衫可能只不過係100蚊唔使，佢可以賣到去千幾蚊。你睇下每個廣告，其實佢就係只一段片嚟嘅，可以係冇價值嘅。但係一廣告公司接咗手之後，去推銷個樓盤之後，佢可以由冇價值變成咗好多嘅價值出嚟。今日嘅資本主義發展已經唔係去到一個過度生產嘅問題，而係建立喺建立喺人裏邊覺得呢樣嘢值唔值錢嘅問題上邊。但係我哋呢個覺得佢值唔值錢嘅情況係好變態，係失控，而去 sustain 去支援翻呢啲虛擬嘅價值嘅時候，係一啲實體嘅剝削，令到第三世界國家嘅人有好多嘅剝削喺裏邊。如果要去扭轉呢種局面，我哋就要問我哋點去改變現代人呢種嘅生活狀態？即係但係呢個關乎緊好大嘅問題就係佢認為我究竟型唔型棍咯，我靚唔靚仔啦？因為可能我冇着呢個 Adidas 嘅風褸或者鞋，或者冇拎一個 LV 嘅手袋，佢會覺得我比下去咁樣。我哋點樣抗拒呢一種我需要進步，我需要站喺其他人頭上邊嘅呢種嘅心態咧？呢個先至我覺得係最重要，佢喺裏邊要處理嘅問題。今日即使我哋去到佔領中環，我哋可以建造咗一種價值，就係我哋呢個社區嘅人就係咁樣生活㗎。我同資本社會盡量去隔離嘅，但係發覺你都係冇辦法嘅。我哋都會去玩 online game 嘅。咁嘅時候我諗而家就要問我哋有咩方法喺文化上邊，我覺得喺文化上邊或者係一啲宣傳策略上邊，令到人願意去過翻一啲比較平實嘅生活。好似琴日溫鐵軍老師講，佢可以去到農田裏邊去，就覺得已經可以擁有一切。但係我哋有冇辦法去將呢種嘅想法、需要進步嘅想法扭轉？其實而家人類唔需要進步。我哋係應該係咪問緊第一屆係咪退步論壇，即係全球退步論壇？因為呢種進步係好過分嘅。而家我哋發展咗咁好嘅國家，我哋就問我哋可唔可以過一個冇電腦嘅生活？我哋就要問我哋一個可唔可以着粗衣麻布嘅生活？如果我哋要問下，如果我今日可能大家都係教授嘅時候，每月出糧會係有幾萬蚊嘅時候，你願唔願放低呢幾萬蚊，佢捐去一啲應該發展嘅地區，而嗰個好簡單嘅生活？呢個問題好需要處理嘅。我哋有冇人會站出嚟講？我今日就同全世界人講，我賺錢我淨係賺到某一個位嘅啫。作為香港人，可能而家呢個平均嘅收入係1萬蚊，我賺過2萬蚊。如果我賺超過2萬蚊之後，我願意攞咗我自己嘅資產出嚟去分俾其他人嘅。咁我覺得呢個世界先有改變。但係呢個正正就係資本主義問題啊嘛，佢要捍衞緊私有產權。但係調翻轉，共產主義就冇去處理一個人係需要佔領需要去使用一啲資產嘅問題，佢冇呢個私有產權，亦都係另一個問題。咁喺兩個中間嘅時候，係咪應該定一條線？究竟人係需要有幾多嘅擁有幾多先可以生存到咧？而擁有幾多係過分嘅咧？如果冇呢一個討論，其實討論落去都冇用。 因為外國即係西方佢進行嘅資本主義，佢就會不斷咁累積落去，但係我哋係遏止唔到。